All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We're going to unpack a seriously high stakes play unfolding right now in some of the world's most dangerous waters. While all the global radars are pinging elsewhere, there is a massive geopolitical shift happening quietly, literally right under our noses. We're not just talking about a couple of ships moving around a map here. No, this is a highly calculated maneuver by Russia to fundamentally reposition international power, basically by holding global trade hostage. So let's piece this puzzle together.
Moving into our first area, we're looking at the geopolitical sleight of hand, distraction versus reality.
You see, geopolitics, it's so often about misdirection. I mean, think about where the world's attention is overwhelmingly focused right this minute. It's the borders of Europe, right? The headlines, the international summits, everybody is locked onto that one specific theater. But the reality? Well, the reality is unfolding super quietly on a completely different continent. It's a deliberate sleight of hand. While everyone is watching the right hand in Europe, the Kremlin is actively, quietly securing strategic positions deep within the heart of Africa.
So let's decode this hidden connection and find that missing piece. What does this new African foothold actually look like on the ground? Well, according to the source material, it's made up of three highly integrated components. First up, you have a new logistics hub. Now, I know, logistics hub sounds like a mundane warehouse, right? But it doesn't exist in a vacuum. It is inextricably linked to paramilitary forces, and both of those things are fueled by these vast, complex resource networks. This isn't just some basic supply depot, it's a completely self-sustaining ecosystem of influence. The physical footprint, the on-the-ground security, and the economic engine, they all feed directly into one another.
Now for part 3, weaponizing a global choke point, or what we can call the Red Sea reality. Just take a second to really absorb this idea. Imagine a single command center capable of paralyzing the artery of global shipping. That's a direct quote from the analysis, and it hits hard. Moscow's military footprint in the Red Sea is no longer just a rumor floating around. It is a concrete reality, and it's challenging every major navy on Earth. Think of it like the human body. Block an artery, and the whole system goes into cardiac arrest. This command center makes the threat completely systemic. It entirely alters the calculus of global trade and maritime security.
And how do they do it? They turn local geography into a weapon, using a very calculated three-step escalation path. Step 1 is to establish that tropical outpost. It starts really quietly, just as a simple logistics hub like we talked about. Step 2 is transforming local influence. By layering in those paramilitary forces and resource networks, the outpost cements its local power base. And then finally, step 3, threaten global commerce. Once it's fortified with regional influence, this base can project power outward, directly threatening the absolutely vital shipping lanes of the Red Sea.
Which brings us to the final piece, the ultimate strategic lever, reshaping international power.
Because the source text makes it clear, this initiative is far, far more than just a naval base. We are talking about a permanent foothold, which signals a long-term play rather than just some temporary maneuver. But more importantly, it acts as a strategic lever. It allows a localized force to exert just immense pressure over the entire global economy. The ultimate objective here is incredibly aggressive. The goal is to shatter Western maritime dominance and entirely reshape international power by essentially holding global trade hostage. When you zoom out, it all boils down to one core concept: weaponizing geography. It's a brilliant and honestly terrifying synthesis of this entire strategy. You don't necessarily need a massive navy if you control the single, narrow doorway that all the world's ships absolutely have to pass through. By securing this specific choke point on the Red Sea, the environment itself becomes the ultimate weapon. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. If this geopolitical sleight of hand has actually worked, if the puzzle pieces in Africa are already locked into place, and geography has indeed been weaponized, is the era of Western maritime dominance already over? It's a huge question, and it really challenges the perceived stability of international trade. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember, always keep questioning what you see on the surface.